Let's dig a little deeper into this fundamental creational problem that we have in some object-oriented languages. Let's assume we have a hierarchy where the most base type or interface is a shape that has a draw method. And we have a couple of subclasses of the shape, rectangle and an oval. And they would, of course, have their own draw methods. Polymorphism allows us to hide the complexity of the hierarchy or hide the various subclasses from a client under normal use. So, say for instance, I have a client that gets a list of shapes that they need to manipulate. They don't need to know what the exact implementation of those shapes are. They can get a list of shapes, go through each shape, and draw them without knowing whether the first one is an oval or a rectangle or in what order things came. So polymorphism, wonderful if the objects already exist. But what if the client had a file where various shapes that we want to create have been serialized? So our goal is to read that file and instantiate a set of shapes. And they may come in a form where we have some tag, maybe pound rect means rectangle and pound triangle means triangle and so on. Now we may end up burdening the client with knowing exactly the format of this file, this external context, if you want, and how you map that into the correct instance or the correct class that creates the instance. For some languages that support polymorphic construction, this will be trivial, but Java is not one of those. The typical clever solution here is that we have the client read the file and get the content, and then delegate to some other object that we often call a factory that will then create the correct shape for us. Now, after that has been created, we can use that shape without knowing exactly what the string in the file mapped to in the implementation hierarchy. That means that the factory or the object we delegated to knew that the string mapped to a rectangle. However, we only use the interface shape, so we don't have to be burdened with the concrete subclasses or any knowledge thereof. So the reason for this delegation is that we want to take away the responsibility of mapping an external context, here the pound rect, for instance, into the correct implementation class. Creating objects of type shape requires that someone maps the strings in the files into the correct class, and also, of course, the parameters or the rest of the string into the proper parameters to the constructor. We don't want the client to have to be bothered with this.